As I said in my opening remarks, last Sunday I've just completed 4 years of my turnaround journey and Sewa. And it was a journey full of obstacles, full of inspiration, full of challenges, full of dreams, full of know-how, full of good people also, full of bad people at the same time. So that was a great journey. And throughout the journey, I've created my own way, my own philosophies. You know, when you're put in a corner sometimes in a black room, you know, creativity is the sparks, and it leads you to do something right we never thought of. And one of the things I've done is for the project management department. When I came, it was a scramble like anything, right? And then I said, okay, let me focus and create a special model for them. It could be like a lighthouse, not the White House, a lighthouse for them just to go and move on, right? So I'll take you through this nice, quick journey. Is there something wrong here with the controller? So it's not technology, it's about using your mind, right? Basic thing, thank you, of teaching me how to use my mind this morning. This is lovely looking person, it was me 20 years back. No, come on, kidding, right? So this is the story of mine. All right, let's see what was again 22nd of April 2014. It was an earth-shaking news here in Sharjah, an earth-shaking news when I was appointed and handpicked by His Highness to lead. It was an executive order from Al-Qasimi, the president, our ruler, His Highness Shah Sultan. We really love him. And he has issued this executive order to restructure the whole organization. Restructuring. So restructuring means a change management. Right, when you restructure things mean that there's a change management happening, and that was the news. So focusing on one department called the project department, those days, came up with 5 very common challenges to any project department or BMO office worldwide. Lack of visibility of all projects, that was very true. Insufficient resources when it comes to the funding or the personal resources. Gaps in communications. No, there was no communication management almost at all between the different departments and the project team. Nobody knew what's happening and what's going on. No one on the dancing floor. And challenge number 4 was about unclear project objectives. So if you know where you're heading, how would you know that you're going to reach your goal and the destination? Because there was no clear objectives. Again, overrun, projects creeping and running away, falling away from the design phase of them. So they were overrun on schedule and the cost. So you always end up with this: who did what, why, when, where, and or any leader during transformation and change, or there's a leadership requirements here, he ends up of being on this zone. So what to do? Life has taught me this one. My story starts with this. This is a journey, begins with a single step. Any journey starts with a single step. But the big challenge here, what is that? The right first step. You should start right. Because I always believe that the right way or the right step or the right action you take at the beginning, it is halfway through success. So if you take the right first step right, then you're halfway through your success. And that is the name of the game here, is that just about the right step you take. And this is my quote, one of my quotes, so I gave myself this inspiration. I said, a journey of 1,000 miles must begin with a hard step, that the right first hard step. And the roadmap, you should have a roadmap to run, and a big smile in your face. So are you ready to take this? Yes? If you're starting a project, you start with your own inspiration. Don't wait for anyone from outside to inspire you to do the good job. If you're waiting for the community, if you're waiting for your chairman, the person who appointed you to do a good job, you won't reach your destination. If you're not in love with yourself, then it will be very difficult. So the first step is to fall in love with your self-you, if you would, in a way. And you said that I really love you now, and this is start with a big smile on the face and the right step toward a better future. So seeing the world through a fresh lens, as we said today, one of the R's today, you need to go for the refresh, exactly. And refresh is about inspirations. Refresh your heart, your mind, and so you need to have a fresh lens, fresh inspiration. So that is where your starting point. When you end up in this zone, and most of us, we do end up in this zone, right? Whether it is a family or community or politically or financially or whatsoever, we end up in this zone, the zone of why, where, what, and how, isn't it? Yes. Do we do that? I mean, from time to time, do you fall in that trap, right? We do, right? So this is one of the tools I love to use. This is one of the tools. It's a tool. It's a management tool called Find It. Has anyone been ever using this tool, Find It? No one? I'm really happy today. Because at least you can go back home and say, Rashid did say something different than others. Right? So you haven't heard about it. Okay, now you're hearing about it. And you'll be learning about it. Find It is one of the tools to find your destination. And Find It stands for focus, inquire, notice, discern, integrate, and translate. Right? So this is the meaning of Find It, if you would, in a way. Right? And this is you're sincerely focusing on a situation. You just focus with your heart, your mind, your new lenses to that situation, and respectfully inquire the situation for the purpose of discovering new possibilities. It's just about design thinking here. It's not conventional thinking. We need like a design thinking, looking for possibilities, not problems, the solutions. And then mindfulness, notice the details of the situation. You need to be a detailed-oriented, where things get scrambled, right? So you need to be a very detailed. And then carefully discern what's going on the situation by distinguishing between the facts, assumptions, and your emotions, right? And then when you do that, you integrate the whole scenario, the whole story of what you have noticed and discerned, right? And finally, you integrate the whole story in one storytelling format. You got it? I know you didn't. That's fine. Catch me at the break. So there are two questions, and that is my advice for you today. We come across a lot of time in our life where we are at the crossroads. We don't know what's the next. What is the right step to be taken next now? Do I let go employees? Do I terminate them? Do I shut down this business unit? We're always confused in so much situation nowadays. Are we? Yeah? The life has become so uncertain that you don't know what's going to happen tomorrow morning. Projection or no projection anymore, right? So what you do, ask yourself two questions. They look very similar to each other, but they sound alike, they sound similar, but to me they're totally different. Passion and a dream. Ask yourself, what is my passion here? What is my dream? Passion is something driven deep inside you. It is what is your what? What is that one thing you feel that God has created you to do for on this earth? Or what is that one competency only? You may have 5, 6, 10, 15 competencies, but there only one specification of yours can take you to the sky, fly to the sky. And you need to discover that. What is that one thing deep inside you? And we call this when you're emotionally attached with yourself. You need to be in a very quiet, peaceful place, sit with yourself, be honest, and try to talk to yourself. Once you start talking to yourself, you know what happens? You start to connect to the universe, and things start showering on you, right? Start to shower on you. Your universe has got so much in store for you, so much waiting for you. It's just the right moment to the connectivity part of it, right? The connectivity, when you connect. And the universe is not open for anyone. It's open for the people who really trace that universe. Try to find that rich moment. And then about the dream is about a management thing, about something that I want to be in the coming 5 years, 10 years, 1 year, 1 month, whatsoever. So just about your plan. Where do you want to be? So you have them down, write them down today, not tomorrow, to see how this will help you to start transform your life. We decided the 3 R's, plus the 2 questions, right? Plus what comes next. Are you following? Yes. Will you apply? Yes. Because I keep saying knowledge is power if applied and shared. So we need to apply the knowledge and we need to share the knowledge together to be a better tomorrow, right? Again, a rule of thumb here before I proceed further. The Harvard Business School came up with this a couple of years back. They say we remember 10% of what we read. If you read an article, you remember 10% after a couple of months or weeks. And 20% of what you hear, so your hearing has more skills, and 30% of what you see when you start to see something, right? and then 40% of what you do, and 100% of what you feel. So if you feel good today about the program, if you feel that being here today is for a knowledge, feel that you're here, I'm going to go home with at least not less than 10 to 15 leads for our customers whom I could connect with to make a better tomorrow, then you are in that 100%. So which one are you choosing here? It's multiple choice. 10, 20, 30, 40, 100? Who's choosing 100? Thank you. You'll have a lunch with us today. All right, thank you. Right. Who wants to be a good manager here? Who wants to be a successful manager? Who wants to be a successful leader? Those who did not take their hands up, please can you leave the room? Because for the coming rest of your life, you'll be working for someone. Right? So please stay where you are. Thank you. You're not so inspired then. All right, there's 4 principles or 4 management things. I'll just take you to the very, very basics. Forget about, do I have to dance here? Oh, okay, thank you. All right, there are 4 principles in management. If you know them, keep them down, then you'll be a very successful, I promise you, you'll be a successful manager or a successful leader. Very back to basics. Forget about all the management books you have ever read, right? So it talks about 4 things here. I call it 4 for 4. I'm coming up to the second 4, 4 for 4. The first 4 is about leading, controlling, planning, organizing. Just remember this. Leading, controlling, planning, organizing. If you want to be a successful leader, forget about all the management. Just throw them to the ocean today, right? So there are the 4 things. If you have them, and if you understand them well, they will give you the other 4. What other 4s that you need to control, to plan, organize, and lead? They are here we go. The 4 resources, right? 4 resources. It's about information, human, physical, financial resources. So if you have this sheet in front of you, just put I am so-and-so, and I can call myself, declare from today that I am a manager or I'm a leader, right? So just remember this slide.